few days ago, Google announced a pretty interesting update in regards to search queries and keywords. And while it's not a major, gigantic update such as PMax or anything like that, I think it is pretty helpful for us as advertisers. And in this video, I want to give you the 3 most important notes on that update, the 3 most important things that are being changed, how they will affect you as an advertiser, and what you can do to use them in the best possible way. So without any further ado, let's get started with those 3 updates. Number 1, something pretty important, you will get access to about 9% more search queries in your search term report now. So when you look into your search term report, you're probably familiar with the category of search queries you can look at, and then those other search terms, which might be anywhere from 20 to 50% of your search terms. So that's something that many advertisers complain about because you don't see all the data that you should have access to. Now Google will show you all kinds of misspellings of search queries as well. So when someone is searching for a product of yours or uses a search query to find your ads, now you will get about 9% on average more search queries because Google will show you all the misspellings and variations of that word as well. So if you had 50% of the search queries available to you in the report previously, now it will be on average 59%, which may not seem as that crazy of a change, but if you think about it, having about 10% more data to look at in your search term report can be very powerful and allow you to make better decisions, use better negative keywords, better understand what's going on in your search and shopping campaigns. And I think that's quite the important change and a step in the right direction when we consider that the whole Google ecosystem is more and more leaning towards everything being automated, you having very limited insights, not knowing what's going on exactly. So I think that's a small step in the right direction at least. Number 2, and I think that is very powerful for negative keyword research, is now misspellings will count as negatives too. So what do I mean with that? Well, previously, negative keywords are still 100% exact, right? So when you add a negative keywords, for example, you want to exclude your brand name from showing up in non-brand search campaigns or shopping campaigns. Let's say you enter Apple as a negative keyword and someone writes a misspelling of that word with just one P or, a double E or something like that. At this point in time, negative keywords won't block that because they will only block the exact word that you specified, which means in our case, many of our clients where we have brand negative keyword lists, we have a brand negative keyword list of 200 negative keywords to account for all the variations and misspellings, etc. of that particular brand, right? And this is something that can be quite tedious, whether it's for brand negative keywords or other negative keywords, because you have to include every single variation. And now Google announced that they will make that a lot easier, and whenever you enter a negative keyword, this negative keyword will block all the misspellings of that as well, which I think again is a step in the right direction. So you don't have to add 50 negative keywords for just one word, but Google will take care of that. The only caveat that we have to check here whether this will be done properly is, of course, whether this will also block variations that are actually useful. So the question is how well Google will be able to determine whether a word will be just a misspelling or something that you actually do want and that you don't want to block. But I think they are probably quite sophisticated at that time and hopefully will actually block the misspellings only. And number 3 is brand inclusions on broad match. So when you run a brand campaign or when you have a keyword that includes your brand name, Google will now actually enforce that sort of brand name to be present in the search query even when it's a broad match keyword. So when you have broad match keywords, Google can trigger all kinds of search queries. So if you have a keyword like, black sneakers, Google can technically give you traffic for all kinds of words, from black shoes to sneakers to brown sneakers to sporting shoes to running shoes, etc. Right? Broad match goes in the right, basically indicates that you want something like that keyword, but it doesn't have to be anywhere near the exact variation of it. Now they will make it so that when you put your brand or a brand name in a broad match keyword, this will be a requirement. So when you, for example, have a Puma, Puma shoes or Puma shoe or something like that in the broad match, then the search query has to include a variation of that brand name or at least something that has the same meaning, right? So when you're going, for example, that's at least how I understood it, when you enter an actual Puma model, for example, or making sure that you actually refer to that particular brand, then it would still trigger. That's how I understood it. Maybe, it's not exactly that, maybe that's not an exactly perfect example. But basically, it means that when you put a brand name in your broad match keywords, it is required to have it, which I think is quite helpful for brand campaigns, so that you can use broad match for brand campaigns and you don't have to use phrase and exact all the time for this. So those were 3, I think, fairly short and simple updates that could help us though get a little bit more control over keywords and search terms again, make life a bit easier with negative keywords. I think it's always important to stay on top of those trends. Speaking of which, when you want to make sure that your account is always on top of the game, make sure to check the link in the description to request my free Google Ads Profit Roadmap, where I actually make a Loom video just for you, talking about your brand, going through your store, and tell you exactly what I would do to boost your Google Ads performance, scale your ads, make them more profitable. And it's a personalized roadmap just for you. It's not a lead magnet or an ebook or anything like that. If you are interested in that and you meet certain requirements, like 50K per month in combined total revenue, make sure to check the link in the description. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like, please subscribe for more Google Ads and e-commerce content. And with that being said, thank you very much for watching. I look forward to see you in the next video again. Bye-bye.